Hello, today for review I've got recently released hybrid in-ear monitors made by Xiaomi. You can see it by the logo on the box. You know, a few years ago Xiaomi, what was the name of this model? Piston was one of the best offers in the ultra affordable price segment. Actually, that model proved that you can get decent sound for like $20 or so. But since that time, actually, newer versions became worse and worse, and actually in this 20 up to $50 price range appeared a lot of companies like KZ, KBER, CCA, and many others. But recently Xiaomi announced this model, and I was really interested, to compare the approach of big company and compare them with well-established brands in the Chinese market. Of course, that brands are so small compared with Xiaomi, so it's like totally two different worlds, but traditional earphones manufacturers care about the sound quality, and few previous products from Xiaomi showed that they are targeted towards so-called mass market. And now they've released a really interesting model. It's hybrid, two balanced armatures per ear, dual dynamic driver. Actually, it's a single magnet system with two diaphragms, if I got their schema on the side right. And they offered a few interesting accessories. I will show it a bit later. So, a lot of good features in this box, and they are pretty moderately priced. So price is about $170 recommended price, but currently on the HIFI Go, the shop where I got them from, they are $150. I'm not sure will this discount last long, but currently the price is so. Of course, all Chinese companies are now for holidays, but I think you can order them anyway. They will be delivered starting from the February when they will be back from holidays. And let's have a closer look. Package is really impressive. Of course, it's noticeable that this company has big designer department. Pure black box with embossing on the front panel showing some Nautilus shell with earphones inside. On the back side there are technical specifications, actually almost no localization, no technical specifications. I'd like to see sensitivity and other stuff, but it's not listed here, so I'll have to Google them. But LDAC codec is mentioned, so it's what makes this model really interesting. So nice, it's even pleasure to touch this material, so its package is done really rich. And here we've got typical one-way box, because when you unpack it, there is no way to pack it back, because it's few levels of paper origami, few levels of folding, so just no turning back. You will have 3 pair of tips, 2 pair of silicons, ear hooks, and this tiny thing is actually a Bluetooth receiver with LDAC support. So great additional accessory in the accessories range. So let's devastate this box. Of course, I will be really sad. But anyway, so earphones themselves, how this thing should be unwrapped. I don't want to tear it apart, of course, but they force me to do that. Okay, I will take it offline to figure out how to do that carefully. So you will have also earphones themselves with additional set of tips, cable with microphone and talk control, additional shorter cable to use with this receiver, and a USB-C cable for the in-ear monitors that are lacking 3.5mm socket. So as you can see, accessory set is really huge and impressive. In terms of design, they are nothing but great, and that's probably the level you can expect from a company like Xiaomi. I zoom the zoom camera a little bit, so you will see clearly how well they are built. So they basically use two materials. Outer part or frame or main part of the shell is made of some metal. Probably it's some alloy, because it's pretty heavy and it doesn't look like aluminium. It looks like something more fancy, maybe some zircon alloy or something like that. And faceplate and inner side are made of plastic, and actually it's really good, because the inner part won't touch your ear when it's cold, because when there is a minus 20 degrees outside, metal in-ear monitors are not the best idea. In general, they are created in the way to accommodate the maximum amount of ears. They will fit nicely even into smaller ears. They are really small, maybe not tiny, but small. Everything is rounded, so totally universal in terms of fit. They are of course designed to be worn over the ear, and they have normal extended spouts with proper angle, so sound isolation is about average. There are two venting holes, 1 and 2, but sound isolation is still on the pretty good level. There is a small lip for holding the tips. Actually, I prefer it to be bigger, but stock tips are holding pretty well. Of course, they put a grill to protect the internals of the earphone from derbies that could get inside. They are not sweat proof, unfortunately, but of course they are targeted more towards audiophiles. It's not a model for workout or something like that. Cable is made replaceable. Here used MMCX connectors, so as you can see here is the marking. Actually, why they mark right ear with blue and left with red, I don't know. It should be vice versa. Maybe it's some mistake. It's no way to fit it into right ear, so it's left. So disregard these color dots. And here is marking on the connectors. Left one goes here. Nice, well-defined click. Holding really well. So nice, good connectors. Cable is normal, maybe not something stellar, not something audiophilic, but it looks really reliable. Nice silicone isolation, and it almost has no microphonic effect, no ear hooks formed. I don't know why, but microphone actually is pretty good, but anyway, it's better to move it closer to your lips, so your voice will be louder. 1 point remote control. So, and here it goes to the regular straight jack. Here is the version with shorter cable, so it's totally similar, but it ends with jack here. And here is the receiver. You know, it's really small. It's like smaller than my finger. You just connect it here and turn it on. Small LED indicator, USB-C for charging, and actually charge time is stated to be about 2 hours, and it will be enough up to 8 hours of listening with a moderate volume. So here is blinking LED, connected, and you've basically done. As short cable has also talk control and microphone, I suspect that this receiver supports them. So as you can see, in terms of design, in terms of build quality, everything is made really well on the superb level that you can probably expect from such company. Small addition to previous part, I wondered why they didn't make ear hooks with memory wire or just heat shrink, but actually the answer is simple and I already showed it. They have attachable rubber ear hooks, so you can use them if you like. But let's talk about the sound. Let's put a player on the table. First I will describe the sound using wired connection as highest potential, showing it's M11 Pro just for reference. So I gave them about 20 hours of burn-in, but there were no big sound changes, maybe some minor ones, so they don't require extended burn-in, and I think it's typical for the mass market targeted in-ear monitors. And actually, you know, in terms of sound, they are also mass market targeted, but you know, for the people who want good sound quality. It's not audiophilic model, it's just tuned for the vast majority of people who like good sound but don't want focus on the micro contrast or something like that. But in general, it's you know, nicely tuned V-shaped signature with surprisingly small accent on the low frequencies and pretty comfortable treble, so it's comfortable V-shape without big accent. So bass is deep, it's almost linear, it goes to the nice depths and it's controlled well. It has accent, main accent is made on the mid bass, but mid bass is not dominating over the upper lows or deeper lows. So just really well balanced and fast low frequencies. It's not super resolving, but resolution is normal. It's really good in terms of texturing and it has good impact, and they are not surprisingly bass head, you know. After testing like Piston 3 or other models, I've expected them to be more bass heavy, but luckily Xiaomi had some subcontractor probably who tuned them for them, and that makes them a really good choice. They are really good with some electronic music, and at the same time they are pretty nice with real instruments. And as an example for the low frequencies, I've got a bit unusual track. It's Metallica's Enter Sandman. You heard this track, it has a prominent bass line and it has a really well recorded bass drum with with that going really low with nice full-bodied kicks, and this in-ear monitors represented pretty nicely. Mids can be separated into two parts, as it often happens with hybrid in-ear monitors. Lower part is represented by the dynamic driver, but thanks to the normal resolution, mids are not lacking from the resolution. They are not too smooth, not too synthetic. Of course, lower part of mids is not as clean and fast as balanced armatures, but still resolution is nice. And upper mids are represented by the armature, and they are fast resolving, and actually what is also good about them, this driver overlap is pretty coherent, so no big gaps or some noticeable traces of driver stitching. So mids are pretty well balanced, not too going into the micro contrast and not too analytical, so they will play nicely with something not perfectly recorded, and at the same time they are not too highlighting emotions, so they can be considered as more or less natural and more or less uncolored. You know, not 100% monitoring, but not colored enough to consider them like some V-shaped or emotions highlighting. At the same time, with properly recorded tracks, they are pretty nice. Imaginary stage is good, above average both in width and in depth. Maybe not big difference from the average, but noticeably bigger. So, as an example for the mid frequencies, I've got Opeth their post death metal part, the Wilde Flowers. So nice work from their 2016 album, and as typical for their few last albums, this one is recorded in like 70s genre. It's a bit greasy, a bit fat, with a bit of added bass everywhere, and at the same time guitars are prominent and well defined thanks to this in-ear monitors. And treble is also on the comfortable side. It's not super extended, but extension is normal. It's pretty realistic. It's a bit softened, but at the same time it's not too moved to the background. So it has normal amount, but just a bit softened to sound in a pleasant way. Of course, comparing with some expensive models, it could be lacking some rich overtones or layering, but this is not a model targeted towards such genres, and actually this price range is not targeted towards such tuning. And as an example, I've got unusual track. It's John Zorn, the Sicilian, how should they pronounce it? Sicilian clan. And this track has a lot of three-dimensional effects, a lot of different percussion, and thanks to this in-ear monitors and their pretty good stage, it's track sounding realistic and lifelike and pretty engaging. So in terms of sound, it's a good, nice, solid tuning. It's not like some accented in-ear monitors or something like that. It's the tuning that like vast majority of people will enjoy, like get it to your friend and it will be pretty happy. And actually I pretty like them too. So of course in this price range I'd prefer probably BQ EYZ Spring, but because it has better treble, for example, but at the same time not everyone likes such treble, and not everyone will want it because it shows all issues with treble and with compression, and it's not everyone's choice. But let's postpone it for the conclusion. So I need to say a few words about USB-C cable and this receiver. So basically USB-C cable and this receiver, they are, somewhere on par with non-audiophilic smartphone or with regular smartphones without a digital to analog converter. Maybe receiver is a bit better, surprisingly, via LDAC codec. But difference isn't huge. Of course, comparing with M11 Pro directly, it has a bit less dynamic sound with a bit less defined upper treble and lower mids. Also, upper mid resolution is reduced a little bit, but still pretty enjoyable. And this thing is pretty universal because it drives many headphones without any problems. And so basically you can connect it to anything you'd like, and it's pretty useful in terms of switchability. You can go wireless in few clicks of MMCX connectors, but actually I'm not sure if it's a good idea, because MMCX connectors are not that durable to be frequently switched. So basically I'd rather stick to one solution. Either you want wireless or wired or USB-C. But of course, if you need to switch it from time to time, you can do it without problems. I won't do much comparisons this time, mainly because not because this model is kind of mainstream, but I use this word many times, but anyway, the closest models it can be compared, probably it's one more did lot of models for the Xiaomi in the past, and actually one more triple driver and quad driver are really popular, and these in-ear monitors are somewhere in between that two models. For me, one more triple driver was pretty linear, while quad driver was more V-shaped. This one is slightly V-shaped, but at the same time not much, and they are more resolving on the mids and have a better bass depth and better bass layering comparing with one Morse. I already said a few words about BQ EYZ Spring. Spring is more audiophilic model with richer treble, but at the same time that treble is a no-go for many genres that are using heavy compressor. There are a lot of models in this price range, some glamour models that I've tested, hybrid in-ear monitors, but they are warmer with more lower frequencies. And Hi-Fi Boy OS V3 that I often mention, it's more focused on the micro detailization, it's more resolving, and at the same time it's a bit thinner, so you are losing some weight in order to gain a bit of speed and resolution. But don't consider like better resolution is like an absolutely best thing, because in many cases better weight is a good plus to have. So I won't try to recall every single model that I remember. Basically, if you need some additional comparison, just feel free to ask. But in general, I'm really surprised that Xiaomi did a decent in-ear monitors, because previously they released many models that showed that they don't care about the sound much, but this model is a nice exception. It's not some audiophilic, revelation, but it's really nice, solidly tuned, enjoyable, pretty detailed, clean, without big issues, and with a lot of useful accessories, and of course a great design. So I definitely recommend you to consider them if you don't want to go that audiophilia path, but just want some good in-ear monitors for you or as a present. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.